There we go. All right. So our first talk, it's going to be Better Business Through Blockchain. It's going to be moderated by Joe Nakamoto from CoinTelegraph. He is not an intern, and a fun fact about Joe is that he is banned from Cuba. So let's welcome Joe Nakamoto.
Thank you so much, Will. Very kind of you. I'm not banned from Cuba for any illicit reasons. Feel free to ask me in the pub later. And the joke was, I'm not the CoinTelegraph intern, i.e. it wasn't me who liquidated $200 million worth of Bitcoin shorts 2 weeks ago. That's my icebreaker out the way. Now to bring my panel onto the stage, I think you're sitting in, is it Alex first or Alex at the other end? Alex at the other end. Okay, in which case I'll welcome Tayfun first from Huawei Cloud. Please clap him to the stage. Veronica from GeekPay, please clap him to the stage. Brigitte from BlockHealth, please welcome to the stage. And finally, Alex from IBEXUS. Thank you all so much for making the time this morning. It's great to be with you all. I know the weather's a bit naff, but it's great to be with you this morning. Before I introduce my panel, my name is Joe Nakamoto. As explained in the intro, I am not the CoinTelegraph intern. I was actually on a flight to Milan that day when the famous spot ETF tweet took place. And let's just say I checked in for an EasyJet flight, and I landed in a private jet. I don't have a Lambo, I don't have a Rolex, I'm not the CoinTelegraph intern. Okay, my introduction out the way. Of course, I make content for CoinTelegraph. Over to you, Tayfun, Huawei Cloud. Who are you? Why are you here today?
Thank you very much for being here for everyone. It's a great opportunity to attend NEARCON and also share this panel with other people from other companies. Thank you. At Huawei Cloud, I'm the ecosystem manager, and for partnerships, we're working with Web3 companies, and we offer services and products to enable them to being an active company and help their customers. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, Veronica, over to you at GeekPay. Can we see your T-shirt?
Yes,
loud and clear?
This is my T-shirt. I just show you because with the jacket closed here. My name is Veronica. I'm CEO and co-founder at GeekPay. GeekPay is a financial operations platform for digital currencies. We work with small and medium-sized businesses. And actually, for the past 2 years, we've been working hard to bring more business to blockchain. And I think that we managed and did a really good job and keep rolling.
Fantastic. So we've gone from cloud to payments, now Brigitte to health. Is that right?
Yes, health. Hi, everyone. My name's Brigitte. Thanks so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to today and tomorrow. So as mentioned, health. So I'm a physician by trade, spent most of my time seeing patients, and then began advising for health tech companies. More and more health tech companies were offering blockchain-based solutions, and the investors wouldn't invest. So we had to set up investor education because they don't invest in things they don't understand. That put me in a place where I was doing 2-week boot camps for investors, and eventually with COVID, the workload dropped, so I wrote a book for my healthcare colleagues, policy folks, legal, developers, trying to get the entire ecosystem to have the same vocabulary and make it very use case centric so that we can all work together for our preferred future. And that was what brings me here today.
Fantastic. And finally, Alex.
Thanks, Joe. Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm Alex from IBEXUS. What we do is we bring business processes on chain. You can define your own business process on our platform, and then you can run it on a chain of your choice. And we use that for providing a shared single source of truth for intercompany and interorganizational business processes.
Awesome. Okay, to open up the discussion this morning, I thought we'd get a sense of where we are in 2023. You've all been in the blockchain business for a little while now, and I go personally to a lot of blockchain, crypto, Bitcoin conferences around the world. Sometimes I'm a little bit like, are we really still here? Could we not be a bit further? Could we not have better levels of understanding, to pick up on what you were saying, Brigitte? Or are we not at a broader level of adoption than what we are in 2023. If I try to give out some Bitcoin to someone in the street, they will usually laugh at me. And I actually do this for my YouTube channel, so I can prove that to you. So are you surprised by where we are in 2023? Could we be doing a little bit better in 2023? Who would like to go first?
Sure.
Yeah, Brigitte?
So I think we're going to go a lot faster, and one of the forcing functions, of course, is AI. And we have this amazing situation where the AI can, because of course, coding for blockchain is difficult, and so we have an opportunity to offload the developers that are burdened with all of that cryptographic challenge that they have with blockchain. And then also with AI, interestingly, especially in healthcare, I think we have a huge opportunity because right now, as is well understood, AI is only as good as the training data. And in health, we actually don't have health data. We only have disease data in clinics and hospitals. And so we have a huge opportunity to onboard the masses because we can now use wearables, apps to digitize our health expression. We're all physical beings first, but the ability to convert our physical health into digital health so that it becomes explorable and then be available for AI, for training to really understand what is health, what are the co-occurrences that allow us to have ideal outcomes as opposed to average outcomes. Healthcare today still treats everybody like a population. That means you're only going to get an average outcome, most of us anyway. And so moving us from a very outdated product, average, treating everybody as a population, to highly or ultra personalized healthcare, where healthcare knows you to 500, 1,000 attributes at a time. That's something only AI can do, and it'll only be able to do it if we participate by digitizing the minutia of our lives in very safe and very effective ways, and that's where Web3 comes in.
Okay. I mean, I think we're all very excited about the AI element right now, and it's definitely going to be a buzzword the next couple of days. But if we stick on the blockchain stuff, Veronica, maybe you'd like to...
I have a very interesting story from a life experience. So I was a month ago in Estonia talking to the guy who doesn't have any clue about digital currencies before, but there was a case happening to him in London. So he was standing, trying to get money out from the ATM. And then apparently a guy with a gun came to him and said, okay, give me your money. He was withdrawing money. And then he said, do you have Binance account? Do you have wallet? And as soon as he said, yes, I have, and he started opening the mobile phone, the guy told him, send money to this crypto wallet to me right now. And he had to send his Bitcoin, which he had on Binance account, directly to the...
Was it just Bitcoin? I'm just interested if he also sold his
At least he mentioned just
else.
Bitcoin, maybe because he didn't want to share all the portfolio that he had.
Yeah.
But that is the real case of the real guy. And when you ask the question how far we are with blockchain and how far the whole world with blockchain, I would say that even fraud people, even bad people understand there is a thing there, and they have to capture this market for themselves. So I think we are very far with blockchain, and I do hope that in the near future, the blockchain will convert from the bad or like not a really good reputation sometimes into really use cases for businesses, protected businesses, and other stuff.
Great point. No, and I like that framing of, yeah, well, criminals realize it has value.
Exactly.
So, but I mean, aside from, no, go ahead, Alex.
I mean, there are criminals on the inside and on the outside, right? Because, I mean, with FTX and everything, trust has been an issue in the last year. And we've also come to realize that there is not a single chain that will do it all. So the future is going to be multi-chain. That's also issue here at the NEAR conference. And especially if you look at businesses, they want reliability, they want trust, they want somebody to cooperate with, who has like a minimum size. They want to plan ahead in maybe in 5-10 years and not like in 1-2 years, like most of the people here do. So that's a completely different point of view. And if you want to open up to like processes happening in Web 2, you have to pick these people up from where they are and provide them with easy possibilities to get started. And NEAR is doing that very well on the B2C side, so to speak, so with the end users. But I think there's a lot lacking in the business and enterprise space to give business an easy opportunity to explore what blockchain can mean for them to take current weight off their shoulders to solve problems that they have at the moment, but also to give them like a hunch of what it could mean in the future. But for them, it's always like, what's currently solving a problem that I have right at this moment?
Yep.
And then you can come with all the NFT stuff and everything else. That's later, and very often we don't realize that.
Yeah, no, big time. I feel like, yeah, blockchain has definitely made the case for being something of value and something that's speculative. But when it comes to business, I think a lot of people get distracted by this whole, smorgasbord of wonderful acronyms and funny words, when in reality they're just looking for a solution to an everyday business problem. Could we talk about that now? Are there any use cases you'd like to suggest or highlight which show that, yes, there are businesses being made better through blockchains?
I can start.
Yeah?
Or I can
Well,
test.
I just want to say something before answering this question. I must agree with Brigitte because AI is very important in the healthcare, and it will definitely change some stuff for the general public. Thinking about the predictive analytics, but also precision medicine, we can definitely use that for longevity of humans, that you can live more, longer because of the better analytics from the healthcare perspective. But if we are focusing on the blockchain technology also adoption, the things must be much easier and accessible for people. If we are going back to 90s, 99, when first companies established before the dot-com bubble, it was very difficult to build a website, build an infrastructure, but also being online. Nowadays, we have a low-code, no-code solution that you can easily build a website within several hours. I think for the blockchain adoption, it's very important for big infrastructure companies to offer better services, but also for blockchain companies think about how we can improve solutions so that their customers, the general public, can easily use blockchain technology in their daily life.
Okay, awesome. I think that's quite a good segue into what Veronica was going to say. No?
I have a real business case, but before we go there, can you please raise the hands who has been paid with digital currency like USDT? Okay, interesting fact. So the thing is that even businesses who are not from Web3 space, who doesn't deal a lot with Web3, they face with a very tough problem right now. They're using banking systems, and banking systems are currently a showstopper for them because they can have their money on their account like blocked for more than 10 days. Or they can send a transfer to a person whom they work with from the US to Ukraine, for instance, and the money will not be delivered through bank because of compliance, because of regulations, because of many, many stuff. And businesses trying to find a solution for themselves because they cannot afford to be sending money for 10 days and their team players will never get it or will get that in a certain of delay. So they switch to digital currencies.
Yep.
When they switch to digital currencies, they're trying to find the solutions that can help them to organize payments, to send them quickly and other stuff. And then they're faced with wallets. The wallets sometimes are quite tough. Sometimes people lose access to their wallets, and then money that were sent would never be delivered and other stuff. So the business case that we are solving right now with GeekPay is helping companies who are working with a lot of different contractors, gig workers, vendors, providers all over the globe to send their MSP out to be in an organized and controlled way. And we see a huge trend that Web2 companies who are working purely on Web2, earning their revenue in fiat currencies, euro, dollar, whatever fiat currencies you know, and they switch to digital currencies because it's the best solution for them, because they solve their particular pain fast and quick transfers overseas. And I think blockchain is one of those solutions that can actually make this process reliable and quick.
Yeah. No,
and we have to work on that to make this reliability and actually trust that we have just touched so clear to businesses that they can easily switch from euro or from USD into USDT, send their MSP out and feel safe and don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, no, I think that definitely, I think we're all in agreement, right? That when it comes to money, whether it's sending value, speculating on value or transferring value, then blockchains have definitely proven themselves, and businesses are warming up to that. But I mean, for the preparation for this panel, I went back and looked at the stuff that so I used to work for a journalist for Bloomberg. One of my jobs was to investigate blockchains around the world. And this was 8 years ago now, and the idea was that classic example was agriculture. That they would put everything on the blockchain, or logistics companies would put everything on the blockchain. It would streamline services. This is 8 years ago, and to this day, I don't think there's any company globally that's using blockchain. When I say blockchain, I don't mean a permissioned database that's not really decentralized. I mean like a proper permissionless, decentralized database to get better business done. So I'm just wondering, when are we going to move away from money to anything else, or does the buck stop with money? And blockchains aren't really great at anything that doesn't have that incentive model built in, which is money. And Brigitte.
So I think in healthcare, there's a lot of good examples. They're early examples, and you want to think of Bitcoin. It came along finance. It didn't touch finance at all. That industry and that sector stayed the way it was, and it just showed up alongside. And we're seeing that in healthcare now in places such as cannabis use. The beauty of blockchain and the ability to stay pseudo-anonymous while you're using various products has made it possible for folks in the cannabis industry to set up situations where we already know the complete DNA of the plant that's being used because seed-to-sale regulations are in place. So when a customer purchases cannabis, that information is encoded in the barcode of the product. And then that individual, if they're purchasing for sleep or pain or for some other use, can provide their personal experience of that product, yes, for their own benefit, but most importantly for the benefit of the entire community using that product, so that they can share what works and what doesn't work with each other. And I think that's kind of the model of crowd-based intelligence, where the individuals pull up their sleeves and participate in the co-creation of the science by which they can live their lives. You also see it in, for instance, HairDAO. Hair regrowth is very big business, apparently going up to something like 53 billion in 2028, up from 17 billion just last year. And that HairDAO has already onboarded 1,300 participants. So you have, of course, this new movement around DeSci and this idea of using blockchain-based solutions to enable that ability of individuals to share the minutiae of their lives while still controlling their privacy and having some agency over where that data gets used and for what reasons. Other places that are really important are individuals who have been diagnosed with a marker for a significant disease of unknown onset, shall we say. So what we have, of course, are individuals with these markers who decade by decade go by and they still haven't been diagnosed, even though their genetics suggest they should. We as experts will never be able to figure out why that's happening, but of course, if, again, back to AI, sorry, if we had enough data from individuals, we would start to understand why those participants with those positive markers are not demonstrating that disease. Provides us a future with amazing opportunity to co-create not just health intelligence, but co-create new products and services and wealth as a community. So I think of it as that next wealth inflection. We had the industrial age, the internet age, and now with blockchain and AI, we can move into a world where transacting on our data isn't something that happens by just a handful of very large companies in the US, but really all of us participate in terms of transacting on our own data and using our data as an economic asset for ourselves.
Interesting. I think the cannabis example is particularly interesting. I guess there you're really minimizing trust, right? Because it's that incentive to do the right thing always, knowing that all that data, if there's one fault in someone recording the wrong strain at one point, then the whole thing it's not worthless, but it wrecks the whole system. And that's the thing that I always struggle with blockchains, is that you need to make sure that every actor acts as best they can with the information they've got. Otherwise, it just becomes a sort of fuzzy, sort of messed up database, I guess.
Well, that dilutes out when you start to have billions of us, right? So that bad actor is increasingly identifiable through, again, AI. And then those bad actors dilute themselves out by many good actors over time.
Okay, very good. Alex, we haven't heard from you for a few minutes. How are you using blockchain with perhaps your professional work in terms of, I guess, transparency? I guess, you work all on chain, is that right?
We have a platform where we're like the gateway between the blockchain world and the Web 2 world of the businesses, and we enable them to use blockchain, but they do not need to have like any blockchain knowledge. We take over the whole signing. We are paying the gas fees. They don't need to have a blockchain wallet. They don't need to know what a fungible token is or anything. But we can.
Much better that way.
Exactly, and that's the way it should be. So you are a business, you have a problem, you want to have a process running where you can trust that it's going to be run as it was defined. And you also want to have security that the data is being processed as it should be. And the big thing then later is if you look at the current technological developments, that this business process automation, business process trust enables later automation. So if you really know that at some point in time your package was delivered to that recipient, then you can trigger automatic processes with it, and that's, I think, the big leverage that we have there.
Okay.
And you said what's different now than like 2015, 8 years ago.
Yep.
I think one is the new layer ones that we have, like NEAR, where you have performance and price and throughput that's not comparable. Mm-hmm. It's also a learning process, of course, that people need to learn what this is really all about. And it's also like a product market fit. What can we deliver? What can blockchain technology do for business? And there was this big wave where everybody said, good, we're going to tokenize everything. So everything is going to be a digital twin on chain, which obviously didn't work because it's of little use in most cases. And now I think the focus is much more on the trust issue, and that's coming up in the last time because we have these new privacy regulations. We have AI data as a source. You need data as a source for AI, but you also need to make sure that data that you have can be trusted. So I think in the future it will be a big issue to say, to be sure that that data that I'm buying from somebody or that data that's being produced somewhere, is that generated? Or is that original? And how can we certify that? Is there going to be a data labeling of some kind? And that's, I think, where blockchain will come in big time, because there you can anchor data on chain and provide proof that there is really something real that it is based on. And that's what we're looking into.
And just to tap into the point there, what you were saying about how you communicate these things to business, presumably everybody in this room has some interest in building with blockchains or with their personal interests or whether it's their professional interests. How should we communicate how we can use sort of blockchain technologies in our daily practices? Is there a way to do it? Are there best practices? What tips and what advice would you give to people when they're trying to communicate about blockchains? And this is kind of my closing question. I guess it's going to be a minute each. Tayfun, why don't you take us away?
I can definitely focus on this question. I think first internet companies started 30 years ago, beginning 90s, and adoption of internet, even changing from the personal computer to mobile phones, took 30 years. I think for companies, education is very important for external users, but also internal users, because if the knowledge, blockchain literacy going up, lift off, then you can provide better solutions, and it can be also good for the end user to use those services. But if you are focusing on the better businesses through blockchain, I think you cannot think black and white, but there is also a gray area because they need the shift from the Web 2 solutions to Web 3. You cannot demand everything that they need to put on the blockchain next day, but they can put some of the services to the blockchain, still using Web 3, but giving the same experience to their users so that they get how you can say, that they have a better accessibility, but also usage for your end users. In the long term, with lifting off the knowledge externally and internally, you can provide better services. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, nice. Veronica, what about yourself?
I was actually, I wanted to reflect to Alex's messages about, like, I think there are two things that all users who are willing to cross the line from real world into blockchain, let's say so, they have to consider two things. Number one is trust. So you have to find trusted solution, at least suggested, referred, or ask for like referral from the person that you trust. Another one is a UI, user-friendly products. Because why blockchain is not so mass adopted? Because user-friendly products are unique in this place. Because it's very hard to find a wallet that you can easily log in. It's very hard to find other solutions that you can understand from first couple of clicks. And I think user-friendly interface for mass adoption is vital. Why ChatGPT is so popular? Because it's so easy to send a message in English and have your answer. The same thing needed to be done with blockchain. And as soon as we are there, I don't think that we are there yet, but I think the more we're going to think about it, trust and user-friendly UI, the quicker we're going to hit the new stage.
If I can add a third to that list as well, it would be usefulness as well. It's got to be useful.
Well, we have use cases already. You see, we have healthcare, we have payments, we have workflow, we have a lot of use cases in real business. The thing is that we need to adopt more people here. And in order to adopt more people, we have to create products that are easy to understand, use, and actually use this immersive power of blockchain.
Fantastic. Brigitte.
So yes, healthcare has kind of been primed because we have graveyards of failures in healthcare. We've been trying to engage individuals in their health historically, and there is, as I say, lots of failed corporate wellness programs. And people do not want corporate to have the minutiae of their lives. And so you need to talk about this as a new model of privacy and security at a level that hasn't been delivered previously, while also creating an opportunity for the individual to gain economic benefit from managing their own data, participating in data marketplaces, and having an opportunity to co-produce important information for themselves and each other. So a very different model than the original use these devices because it's good for your health. That value proposition was too low for many people to participate. And so I think if you talk about an opportunity to make health and data management so sticky and so irresistible through using technology that's going to be finally offering us that ability to stay private and secure when it comes to the details of our lives.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also that point you made earlier about the fact that you can build a new system while the existing or the incumbent system sort of rots away, knowing that people do have this flight to safety. You compared it to Bitcoin building this new financial system while the old one still exists.
Right.
To some extent, they do now coexist now, but there's a lot more people trying out that new system. I think the same thing could be applied to healthcare.
Exactly. And the minute you have an opportunity to get your X-ray done at a place where that information is going directly to your own home base, to your own blockchain, you won't choose the other one. Same thing with where you get your labs done. If you're going to have a televisit with someone, you want that to be automatically added to your blockchain. And so, like you say, I like the word rotting. So the incumbents are rotting on the side.
Yeah, super. Alex, what do you think? How should we communicate these blockchain benefits to businesses?
What we try to do is we try to put like the power to our users to create their own processes on our platform. So we don't try to prescribe how to do the business, how to leverage blockchain, but we give them the ability to use this shared single source of truth for their own needs and solve their own problems. And what I would suggest is, for everybody to go to IBEXUS.io and download our IBEXUS connector and start playing around with it, because
We did so well without shilling. We had 25 minutes without shilling.
you got to take the first step at some point in time. That's it, right?
Okay, that was sooner than I thought. Was there another way you'd like to communicate it without necessarily shilling your company? No?
I think you have to make it as easy as possible to use blockchain for a real world problem. Okay. And that's what we have to find out. Where is really the point where people can use it in a way that benefits them and is not like a constructed idea that's coming out of the Web3 space where everybody's thinking about identity and data ownership, but where it's really useful.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, great note to finish on. So we've gone from payments to crime to speculation to blockchains to healthcare to usefulness. I think we've covered a good deal today, guys. Thank you so much for being part of this today. Thank you all for listening. And it's been Better Business Through Blockchains.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.